the Overman Warrior Podcast.
Hi, Rich Hoffman here. Of course, I'm talking about things here in a very layered context, but this is the Thomas Massie race, the congressional race in Kentucky. Trump is upset that Rand Paul and Lauren Boebert are campaigning for him. Supposedly, they say Thomas Massie dares to come out and campaign or not go along with Trump's policies. There's a lot of media talk about they're rooting for Massie because he stands up to Trump. They want to see that people like Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene are willing to peel away Rand Paul, won't fall in line with the Trump administration, so they're campaigning against him. Here's Channel 5 doing a little expose to try and help Thomas Massie out. It's pretty close, going to the Tuesday primaries. And I'll tell you where I'm at on it here in a minute. The whole thing kind of reminds me of the fight with Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. I could have told you how it was going to turn out before the fight started. I felt sorry for Gina Carano up front. And that's because you can always tell how these things are going to go, depending on who gains leverage or not. In business, it's like that. Whoever gains the leverage is going to be the winner. And Ronda Rousey obviously was going to turn to a wrestling match. She's going to get a hold of Gina Carano's arm and put it into a submission. It took 17 seconds with all the hype that went on. But you knew going into the fight that there was going to be, you could tell by the way they were talking the fight up, that Gina Carano, and I was rooting for her because of the way she was treated at Disney poorly. And I liked her in The Mandalorian, that she was going to end up having trouble with this fight with Ronda Rousey because they were directing you, they being the promoters, were directing you to where they wanted you to look. It was going to be a striking match and Ronda Rousey was going to have a hard time fighting. And any fight that Ronda Rousey hasn't done well in the past is one she's lost her leverage and she couldn't wrestle or use her judo to use minimal effort to get maximum effect. And that's what you do in leverage. Trump does that in politics. That's why he's been so effective. And you can always tell who's going to win the fight depending on who's going to gain leverage in the situation. Whether it's in a negotiation or it's a cage match, it's always about leverage. It always comes down to leverage. And that's what's going on with Thomas Massie here. Thomas Massie does not have leverage.
Primary race ever in history, and it's happening right across the river. The fight between Representative Thomas Massie and his rival Ed Galrine, who's backed by President Trump, has not only been expensive, it's been downright nasty.
And so tonight, I sit down with Congressman Massie to talk about the mudslinging campaign on both sides and why he hopes voters choose him during next Tuesday's
Channel 5.
More than $25 million has been spent on the race between Congressman Thomas Massie
Woke Eddie Galrine is a fraud. He's running in the wrong primary.
and Ed Galrine, the other Republican who wants his job.
This is the face of a deserter. May 19th is our day to fire him.
Did you ever expect this kind of
Thomas Massie
pushback from your own party?
No, I didn't expect it to get this expensive.
In 2024, Donald Trump won by 31 points in Kentucky. And now he's against you. He's attacked you, even on social media, of course, in the commercials. What kind of pressure does that put on you?
What I'm telling people is you can like Donald Trump and you can like Thomas Massie and you can support both of us. Because 90% of the time, I vote the way the president and the party would want me to vote. But 10% of the time, I'm sorry, if they're bankrupting the country, if they're spying on Americans without a warrant, that's where I have to deviate from the party.
You're now the target of his attack. Were you leery to go against the president because of that?
I've never insulted him personally. He has called me a moron at the prayer breakfast, at the National Prayer Breakfast, and people ask me what I had to say for myself. I say, I'm glad I'm in his prayers.
Massie was against teaming up with Israel in the fight against Iran. He believes the long-term effects at the gas pump, in the grocery.
So here's the deal. with Thomas Massie. And I've talked to Warren Davison about this because Warren Davison doesn't always vote in Trump's favor. Trump has been a lot, I think, more accommodating of Warren Davison than he has been Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie, as Rand Paul has, and these are Kentucky people, and Trump won well in Kentucky, I know where Kentucky people stand, pretty much. The reason that Trump has a problem with Thomas Massie is because he takes away the leverage. You never want to take away the leverage. Thomas Massie, when Trump's trying to get leverage over the Democrat Party, you always have the Rand Pauls and the Thomas Massies come out and say, yeah, but I'm trying to represent my constituents. Well, you're trying to deliberately take away leverage that Trump, as leader of the party, is trying to get over rival Democrats on issues that are pertinent. So when you advertise yourself as being one who takes away the leverage, and you take that away from a business person, you're going to definitely get their attention as being someone who's working against you. Because leverage is everything. That was certainly the case of the fight with Ronda Rousey. It was all about leverage. And she knew when she went in, she was going to go to judo, and she was going to do a wrestling takedown and take away the ability for Gina Carano to strike with her larger body and her ability to punch. You don't walk into people's punches. You take them down, you get them into submission, you get them to tap out. That's how you win, and that's how you win in all circumstances. And Trump knows how to do that in business. That's why he's a good negotiator. He knows how to get leverage in the situation. And he knows how to get the other party to tap out. And when you're trying to do that in a political circumstance with party politics, and you're the leader of the party, Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, and you got someone like Thomas Massie and Rand Paul and Lauren Boebert out there always taking away your leverage, of course he's going to be mad at him because that you can't take away leverage. Leverage is everything. You have to get leverage over your opponents. And you can always tell who's going to win based on who has leverage and who doesn't. And Thomas Massie is out there advertising. I live in the area, so I hear the ads. Thomas Massie's out there advertising that he's with Trump most of the time. 90% of the time he votes for Trump because he's hoping that 31% vote gap, the people who overwhelmingly vote for Trump in Kentucky, will vote for him to retain him in Congress over a rival in this primary. But the problem with Thomas Massie is he deliberately, under the umbrella of fairness and good representative republic, this is the problem with rhinos in general. They try to say, look, I'm being honest, I'm being good, I'm being a good constituent, but really I'm purposely trying to earn brownie points with media, Democrats, people who want to take pot shots and weaken the Republican Party by taking away the leverage that we voted Trump to give us as conservatives, as a Republican Party. We want that leverage intact. And Thomas Massie has purposely gone out and deflated tires. And he's done it with a smile on his face. And now he's out there running campaign ads saying, I'm 90% of the time I'm with Trump on everything. 10% of the time I vote against him. If he's trying to bankrupt the country, I'll stand against him and say, I'm not going along with it. And it takes away Trump's leverage over the Democrats by trying to get legislation pushed through, whether it's a SAVE Act or the big, beautiful bill. People like Thomas Massie have taken great joy in taking away Trump's leverage in the party to give Republicans wins over detrimental anti-American Democrats. And you can't take away leverage of somebody who in strategy is trying to use it to defeat their opponent. That puts you on the bad side of things when you purposely go out there and say, but we're all supposed to get along. I'm representing my constituents and they want to see that I'm fighting against higher bills or runaway escalating costs are out of control or alignments with Israel that people don't support for forever wars. And you need party unity to gain leverage over your opponents. Trump needs that from the Republican Party. And Thomas Massie has worked against giving that leverage to Trump. And Trump knows as a businessman that leverage is everything. You got to have leverage. Without leverage, you almost perpetually always lose. And that was certainly the case going into the fight. You could see before Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey even stepped into the ring. The way they did their press conferences, that the script was already out there. Ronda Rousey knew what she was going to do. Gina Carano knew what she was going to do. She kind of gave, when Ronda Rousey went in to go do the takedown, she kind of gave a little half-baked knee to the face, not with a lot of viciousness, and that's why you can always tell a loser. If you don't go for the vicious hit, you're going to lose. When you know the other person's going to take you down and try to get you in a submission position, and you don't strike hard, you're going to lose. And that's what Thomas Massie has done to Republicans. He has not aligned himself with Trump. Trump's trying to give us leverage that we voted for. And Thomas Massie and Rand Paul have always worked against the party, worked against Trump's leverage to work against Democrats. And when you take away leverage, you're working for the other party, essentially. And that's the case no matter what the negotiation is, whether you're negotiating over a pack of gum or a new property deal or congressional seats. It's all the same business. It's about getting leverage over your opponents, and Trump knows how to get leverage, and we want to give him leverage. Thomas Massie has worked to take that leverage away. That's why he's on the out now. That's why it's even close, and they spend so much money just to try and hold his seat. But it's not about fairness, and Thomas Massie doesn't get to say now, when he's worked so hard to take away Trump's leverage in the party, hey, I'm just trying to be fair. I'm just trying to be constitutional. I'm just trying to be a good representative of my constituents. And that's what Rand Paul says, but he knows clearly what he's doing when he tries to take away leverage. You're taking away the ability of a fighter in Trump to give us party wins as Republicans over Democrats. And when you do that, that makes you the bad guy. That puts you on the wrong side. And yes, we are out here not just trying to have honest debates. We're out here trying to defeat the enemy. The enemy is anti-American Democrats. And Trump is there trying to give us wins, and we need him to give us wins, and we need people who will support Trump so he can get emotional leverage in these negotiations against whoever it is we're trying to fight against, whether it's China or whether it's the Democrat Party, or getting more senators to vote for the SAVE Act. You got to show that you have leverage over the party, and you can't have these wild people going out and taking away that leverage, because then you lose the ability to hold the party accountable and in directions that you need them to go strategically. You can't take away the leverage of somebody who's a strategist. Don't do that. That's a bad thing. And Thomas Massie did it, and he deserves to be primaried out because of what he did. And Trump needs to be able to show that he has that much power over the party. The Republicans need to show that they're that united behind Trump so that he can get that leverage where we need him to have it. It's all about leverage, always about leverage. That's like telling Ronda Rousey, when you're in a fight with Gina Carano, don't try to get her in a submission arm lock where you're going to break her arm and get her to tap out. You've got to always get your enemies to tap out by getting leverage over them. That's how you win, and that's how Trump wins. That's how he negotiates, and that's what we need the Republican Party to do on our behalf, is to win over Democrats. Make the Democrats tap out. You can't play nice and still win these things. It's not about the show. It's about the actual victories. And that was certainly the case with the Gina Carano-Ronda Rousey fight, and that's the case with these primaries with Republicans, and who supports Trump and who doesn't, and do they rally behind Trump and stand behind him when it's tough or not? And are they going to give him leverage over detrimental Democrats? And we need Republicans to stand by Trump so they can get that leverage over Democrats and give us wins we desperately need as a country. That's why we put Trump in office. That's why we stuck with Trump through all the hard times. Not to have Thomas Massie go out there and try and take away that leverage and say, but I'm just trying to be fair. No, you're trying to draw attention to yourself at his expense, and when you do it to him, you're doing it to all the rest of us and taking away the leverage of the Republican Party that we need over rival Democrats, because we're trying to win, not be fair and just even Steven. This is interesting. This is some more from Kim Iverson. She's kind of a, I would put them along with like Today Show politics. They're pretty upset about Thomas Massie being a close race, and how terrible it is for Trump to go against his own party because they're taking away leverage, and you can't do that. And here they're upset that Thomas Massie's not being treated fairly in the Republican Party. Listen to her.
Expensive House primary ever at this point. Money has flooded in. to unseat Thomas Massie, mostly from
he deserves
AIPAC
it.
lobbies. It is an absolute disgrace, something that every American should be completely alarmed by, the fact that a foreign country and interests of a foreign country would have the ability to unseat one of the single most America First members of Congress that we have at the moment.
Not at all.
Thomas Massie is hanging on by a thread. The primary
He
election
needs to
is
lose
on Tuesday. At this point, I don't know. It has been neck and neck. It is a very scary time that we might be losing one of our best in Congress.
Listen to her.
Us now is
She thinks he's one of the best because he stands against Trump so much.
Several times before. She is a small business advent. She is
These are Democrats rooting for a Republican. These are Republicans sorting out their mess and taking Republicans out who are causing Trump not to have leverage over Democrats.
Social media.
That's what this is all about.
That massive AIPAC spend that is trying to.
And there's lots of foreigners who support the Democrat Party, and they don't do these kinds of exposés on them.
I know this is not my normal topic or my normal subject matter, so I really appreciate you fitting us in today because I think what we're doing is super important.
So explain exactly what it is you are doing. You're in Kentucky now. You're following the Thomas Massie campaign. You've got a bunch of other creators. You're asking for as many creators who could come out as possible to join you in Kentucky. So tell us exactly what you're doing.
So a lot of people may or may not know that I actually head sort of a coalition, like small chat group of creators that don't take money for our content. We work very hard to maintain our integrity. We don't take money from political parties. We warn one another when political parties are offering money. We work really hard to keep our integrity intact. And I've been watching the slow erosion of the American voice in deciding who actually runs in our elections for the past 20 years, really since Citizens United took effect. And this election was just, I guess, a bridge too far for me. We've watched as corporations and billionaires have captured more and more of the political process. And
against billionaires again,
more and more,
against the rich, against those who create wealth and jobs for people.
In that process. Well, when I was
Democrats are horrible.
Kentucky,
Democrats are terrible people.
Popular member of Congress.
Not only are they stupid, they're just dumb.
Right, Thomas Massie is hugely popular with the left and the right. And there's a very simple reason.
He's not popular with the right.
He doesn't take billionaire money, and he always puts Americans first.
No, he doesn't.
Now, you might not even agree.
He just wants to take away leverage from Trump for his own power.
Best for the American people. He's had hugely popular bipartisan efforts over the past year. He's passed incredibly important bills, and he's also fended off bills that were aimed at hurting the American public. Like just 2 weeks ago in Judiciary, he stopped a bill called the Protect American AI Act that was going to grant data centers immunity, so that we couldn't sue them if they destroy our communities, our homes, our water systems, our ecosystems, right? And he single-handedly stopped that bill, and no one knows about it.
He's like a hippie.
We all know about the Obscene Transparency Act. Very few people know he just passed the Prime Act, which allows small local farms to process their own meat locally so that we're not having our meat packed with chemicals and sent to China for processing and sent back with a Made in the USA tag on it. He just passed that.
Democrats love him. That's all you need to know about Thomas Massie.
3 billionaires from other countries with zero ties to Kentucky stroll in here and outspend him 5-1 after he raised more money than any other member of Congress.
Yeah, that's kind of people who are supporting Thomas Massie. So keep that in mind for the primary. What a bunch of losers. And it's all about leverage. And they love the fact that he takes away leverage that Trump uses in the Republican Party to beat Democrats. That's why they're rooting for Thomas Massie. It's been a bad thing for Thomas Massie to work against Trump in ways that have been detrimental, and it's not forgivable. Just as Laura Boebert has and Rand Paul. It's unforgivable what they've done to take away leverage from Trump when he needed it most, to make the Republican Party stronger. That's the most important thing, is to win in these things, not to take shots to draw attention to yourself and then say you're trying to be a responsible constituent. That's not how you play the game, and that's what they've been doing. And Thomas Massie has been bad. He deserves to be primaried out. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.
In the age of disclosure, you must understand the politics of heaven. Coming soon.
Coming soon, the politics of heaven in 2027. A treasure hunt through heaven and all human history.